Good afternoon. I'm putting down a quick live video for you. I just thought I'd take the opportunity to catch up and have a quick chat. Clearly it's Andrew Mowat here, one of the main instigators behind Mental Learn Education, the founding partner, and I'm here based in Singapore, and I do a lot of work around conversation, brain, and adding value to people through the things that you say. Now, the last time I did Facebook Live, under the recommendation of doing landscape, I had a lot of you tilting your heads on your sides, and so this time I'm not pushing with landscape, I'm going portrait, so hopefully this works well for you. So I'm here in the sunny land of Singapore, which is in the grip still of virus fever. It's amazing to see how the country and people are responding. Mostly people are pretty good, I must say. But today I just wanted to catch up and have a quick chat about something I posted earlier in the week on a few of the social platforms. And what I posted was this question: what is the most precious thing that you can give another person? And most people tend to respond with things like time or something similar to that. Being present is another one. I'm going to challenge that thought. There's something that's deeper than time and is actually much more scarce, but is the magic behind conversation and relationship, and it's the secret sauce to success in many ways. And it's something I spoke about today at a gathering of entrepreneurs here in Singapore. And Craig, I know you were watching, I can see that you were a part of this. And it's one of my burning platforms, and it's attention. Attention is the thing that is the most precious thing you can give another person. We don't think about it very much. Attention is one of those weird things where we're not really aware of our attention. We don't pass much of our attention onto what we're doing with our attention. I guess you could call that meta attention. So it's a bit like at the end of the day, someone could say, give you $100 at the start of the day, and then say at the end of the day, so what did you spend your money on? And most people would say, well, the money's all gone, my attention's all gone, but I don't know what I've spent it on. And this idea of the analogy between money and attention is quite close. We talk about paying attention. And I always think there's a lot to be said for what language tells us about what's going on in the brain. So this idea of paying attention and giving attention is not well understood. And no worries, mate. Thanks, Craig, for joining. Hi, Amber. How are you? Good to see you joining. So this idea of attention is a really key one, because we just don't know that we're giving it, that we're paying it all of the time. We don't know if we're paying it to the right things or the right people. And it's one of our most scarce resources. In some of my workshops, I play this awful trick where I get to have people focus on a key task, and in the task in the background there are other things that go on. It's a bit like the famous gorilla exercise, where a gorilla passes through a bunch of people playing basketball, that sort of thing. Magic is another example of how scarce our attention is. If we had really good attention capability, magic wouldn't work. Magic just would not work, because we would see what is happening. But when the magician does something here to draw our attention, yet the real magic's happening down here, we are amazed that something unbelievable has happened. And it's really a misdirection or a redirection of our attention away from where the action's happening. Politicians do this in the way that they speak often. They redirect our attention away from what they don't want us to hear or see. Shouldn't get too political, I guess. So the first point I'm making about attention is it's massively scarce. It's much narrower than we think. Hi Cheryl, how are you? Good to speak to you. It's massively scarce compared to what we believe. It's a little bit like a laser beam, nothing like a radar that we expect, where the attention is wide scoping. It's actually very narrow and very targeted. And attention, really, if we define it, is the selection of one of our senses, usually sight or hearing, at the expense of others. So another example of how this idea of attention works is if you're at a party and you're listening to a friend talking about something and you're quite interested in what they're saying, someone mentions your name behind and you immediately have your attention go to behind and you engage and try and pick up what was being said about you or for you. Hi Ali, how are you? Good to have you connecting in from the UK as well. So this idea that attention is very narrow, and while your attention goes behind in this party syndrome, the person you were listening to keeps talking and you don't hear very much at all. Or when you're at a workshop and you're taking down notes, at the time you take down deep notes while someone's talking, you miss a lot of what they're saying. So we don't get a lot of bandwidth for our attention. And there's quite a lot of neuroscience that's starting to show this now. Attention's also related to the time of day. We have a couple of diurnal cycles, some cycles, circadian cycles through which we travel, which means that at various times of day, our attention is really at its peak, and other times, like now for me, about 3 or 4 o'clock here Singapore time, 4 p.m, my attention is really just starting to pick up after having a low spot, that mid-afternoon time when we want to nap and we need coffee to keep us going and to be alert. So a couple of things that I'm summarising for you. Attention is really narrow. It's much smaller than we expect. It can easily be diverted. And it's good at certain times of the day and under certain conditions. When we're tired, we're run down, we're not well, we're thirsty, we're hungry, attention is not well utilised. So we tend to fall into default ways of paying attention. Often we just go back to mobile phones and devices because that's easy to pay attention to. But the real point about attention I want to tell you is that it is the magic sauce. It's the secret sauce to success. When we're trying to learn something, we cannot learn it without paying attention. Stuff that we don't pay attention to, we don't learn. Stuff that is important to us, we naturally pay attention to. Things that we're passionate about, interested in, we pay attention to, and we get lost in and absorbed in these things. But things that bore us and that we find hard to engage with, we really struggle with our attention in that case. So sometimes matching purpose and passion, things that energize us, to attention is really powerful too. Attention is not only the foundation of learning, it's also the foundation of relationships, work relationships, personal relationships, and attention in these circumstances is often given through the act of listening. So when we listen well, the net felt experience by the person we listen to is that we're paying strong attention to them, that they're important enough for us to pay attention to, that we're connected through that act of giving attention, and that the relationship is strengthened because we're paying good, deep, highly present attention. However, if I start to listen to you, but I'm on my mobile phone, and I'm doing something else while I'm trying to listen to you, my attention is divided. And your felt experience of me being with you is lower. So you don't feel as respected, you feel less engaged with me, or that I'm less engaged with you. You start to feel like you're a little bit less important because the other thing is more important. And you start to feel that that's a bit unfair, especially if this is a conversation that matters. So just to help me out here with your attention, just give me a thumbs up or some sort of smiley face if some of these ideas are working for you. I know I'm broadcasting at a time that is either dinner time or breakfast time or at the end of the day. I just wanted to jump on quickly and put down a quick thing about attention. So if some of this is making sense to you, either in seeing this live or in some point afterwards, if this is making sense for you too, then a quick little thumbs up or a heart or a wow, whatever would be good. That helps me also know that I'm not just talking to my mobile phone. So these final ideas about attention then, and the point I'm making about attention and relationship, is that attention is the way that we give quality to the relationship. And when we're deeply, often deeply in love with someone, the way that that love is expressed and the way that that love triggers all of the neurochemistry of love is through the agency of attention. And if we don't pay the right attention at the right time, then someone can feel unloved or unconnected, disconnected rather, and so therefore the quality of the engagement falls down. Teachers use attention all of the time. Teachers are asking for the attention of a class all of the time. And as a trainer, for me, I try and renegotiate attention. People can pay attention for about 10 minutes and then it starts to wane. So I've got limited time now to hold your attention, for example. So I don't want to talk for 30 or 40 minutes about this. You'll just jump off. But people, when they're with you, also jump off if you overuse their available ability to give you attention. So attention then is, people are not aware of it, it's undervalued, but it has high value in success for learning, success for change, success for relationships and conversations. So it's the thing that you should be much more aware of and start to harness and use to engage the people that you need to engage, or yourself in the things you need to engage in. A couple of things I want to wrap up, and good to see you, Vicky, to see that you're quickly joining as well. A couple of quick ideas to finish with. People often say I don't have time when they're saying they don't want to engage with something, whether it's real or an excuse. And what they're really saying is I don't have the attention to give to this. Time is really an artifact of attention as well. You are quite happy, in fact you get paid for the attention that you pay to something, your task at work, the amount of attention that you give your role, the things you need to do in your role and the tasks you need to complete, you get paid for your attention. Less so, I think, your time, especially these days. People often say, I don't care where and how and when you do it, as long as you do it. So paying attention to that is the key. We also give people money. We pay them to attend to things that we don't want to pay attention to. Here in Singapore, there's a very big thing in our local housing car parks where people leave a windscreen wiper up to show that they want their car washed. And people love having clean cars here in Singapore, but they don't want to clean necessarily themselves or don't have the time. So they will pay someone else to attend to the things that don't interest them or they don't have time for. So golden nugget for the day. Well done, Alison. Good to see that you've joined me here. So my quick update then is the preciousness of attention for you personally in your ability to have and find success. And it's the best thing, the most precious thing you can give other people. Our last point about attention is that we don't divide attention very well. Now, I'm not talking about doing something unconsciously, like I know people who can do knitting, for instance, while they're talking, or do other things while they're talking, but this idea of multitasking that I'm drawing to, multitasking is really is in fact not a bit of a myth, it is a myth. You try doing two cognitive things at the same time, it's impossible. And attention is the resource that you're trying to divide. From a brain point of view, there are a lot of resources that go into giving attention, and they're limited. And you can really only split, not effectively, into two things, because usually at the top back part of the prefrontal cortex is where we use the part of the brain that controls and commands paying attention to something. If we pay attention to one thing, we use both sides of the brain to do it. If I ask you to pay attention to two things, that splits in half, and you've got limited capacity now to pay attention to two things, and anything beyond that is impossible. So that's the final piece I wanted to end with today. It's precious. We have low capacity to give it. It's scarce, and it's something that we should value a lot more. So thank you for joining me for this short little update. I'm going to do a lot more from the MetaLearn page. I've got a workshop in Melbourne coming up where I'm going to be using attention as one of the brain-based models to support unfearing feedback. So if you know anyone in Melbourne that wants to join a workshop in Collins Street with me, I've got some details on MetaLearn here. Or if you want to message me and get some further information about that. I'm hoping that I don't get sick or that I don't get prevented from coming with the current coronavirus here. So I plan to be in Melbourne in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks, Vicky. Great to be in touch. So thanks for joining me for this short one. And if you like this, like I said, give us a thumbs up. Helps the Facebook algorithm as well. And this stays as a recording on the MetaLearn site, so I'm more than happy for you to to distribute this. I have to hang on a little bit longer because my gorgeous Steph has just joined me, so she'll be embarrassed that I've called her out. But I have been saying hello to everyone, Steph, so that's all cool. So I'm hoping that I join. And in that session around unfearing feedback, there are a couple of other things we look at besides attention, but that's one of the main ones. So thank you, everyone. Sorry, Steph, you've just joined me at the end. I've gone long enough now, so I'm going to jump off this one. I'll let you know next time that I'm doing this. So Huru from UK. I'm not planning to get to the UK for a little while, Alison, at this point in time, but I do have that on my long-term, medium-term radar, especially if someone helps organise some events for me. So maybe that's something I talk to you about. So with that, it's best wishes here from Singapore, and the key message today is that attention is your most scarce but most valuable resource that you can use on yourself and that you can give to other people. So just be a little bit more aware of it. So thank you, everyone. Talk to you soon on the next one. I'll pre-warn you next time and let you know that I'm doing a quick little Facebook Live. I'm learning this new craft of connecting on Facebook Live with people. Huru and happy times from Singapore. Take care. See ya.